Hi guys, and thank you for watching. So today I did a video on how you can create a flawless smooth finish when applying your foundation, your contour, and your highlighting, powders, all that good stuff. And actually next week will be a continuation of this video, which I will explain how to do the eye look that I did today, which has a pinkish tone to it, which looks absolutely beautiful in person. I'm not quite sure if the camera projects all the colors that appear in person. If you'd like to learn how you can create a flawless smooth finish to your skin, please continue watching, and please make sure to tune in next week for the eye tutorial. Again, if you'd like to see any specific tutorial, please make sure that you like and you comment below and let me know what you'd like to see on my channel, whether it's makeup, hair mask, hairstyle, face mask, anything. Please let me know. So I hope that you'll enjoy this video, and please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below, and hope to see you guys next week. Bye bye. Hi guys, so very first thing that I'm going to do is apply my Benefit Professional primer, and I'm only applying this to the areas where I have large pores. So I have a little bit here on my cheeks, underneath my eyes. I have a little bit here on my forehead, on my chin, and a tiny bit on my nose because I get really oily there. And I'm not applying very much. I'm only applying a tiny bit. And I don't use it for the rest of my face because I feel that it does nothing for me, that it doesn't really matter whether I put it on or not. So I'm only taking a tiny bit on my hand like this and applying it directly to the areas where I need it. And this primer is really smooth, and once you put it on, it makes your skin so nice and smooth. I absolutely love it. A little bit on my nose. And you can use a brush to do this, or you can use your hands, whatever you prefer. I like to use my hands just because, I don't know, I just like using my hands. Next, I'm going to apply on my corrector, and I'm using the Bobbi Brown shade, let me get this open. Bobbi Brown corrector in light peach, and I'm only applying that to the areas where I have discoloration. So I have a little bit underneath my eyes, and since olive skin toned, I have some discoloration on my lips as well, so I'm going to put that on those areas. There's just a tiny bit on my finger again and dab it on to my skin. When you rub on the corrector or foundation, whatever it is that you're using, it tends to smear the product, and it just takes it away instead of it really being absorbed by your skin. Around my lips. As you can tell, it already makes a big difference. Next, I'm going to apply on my foundation, and I'm using the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This is the one that doesn't have SPF. It's really great for people with oily skin because it doesn't make your face shiny or anything like that. And to put this on, I'm going to use my Sigma flat kabuki brush. This is F80, and I'm only applying it to the areas where I won't be contouring. Since I'm using foundation cream contour, I don't want to put it on those areas as well because I feel it's too much product. So I'm just taking a tiny bit, and I'm just pressing this on to my skin like this, and I'm going to blend it in with my beauty blender as well. So now with my damped beauty blender, I'm going to dab it into my skin. And the beauty blender really gives it a smooth, nice finish. Next, I'm going to contour, and I'm going to use my Artist of Makeup Flawless HD Foundation, and I'm going to use the dark shade to contour. I'm using it along with a flat angled brush like this, and I'm just taking a tiny bit onto my brush like this, and I'm going to make two lines on each side of my cheek. Then I'm going to contour my forehead. I'm going to contour my chin area here a little bit, and a little bit underneath the chin as well. Then last thing that I will do is contour my nose. So to contour your cheeks, you should contour from the top of your ear to your lips like this. And you have the option of whether to take it all the way down or just do a half raise, totally up to you. But since this foundation is really high pigmented, I'm only drawing the line here. Then I'm going to blend it to the rest of my cheek. So starting here, taking one line like this, then same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to put the rest onto my forehead. And I have a really large forehead, so I like to contour a lot of it. And for my chin, I'm just going to contour this area just to make this area more, I guess, slimming. Now I'm going to contour my nose, and contouring my nose is a bit tricky, and I do it different than other people. Most people will go on the side, but that doesn't really do much for me, so I like to start on the very top and just bring it all the way down. And it's going to look really dark at first, but once I blend it out and I set it in, it'll look a lot better. I'm drawing a little bit liner here and a bit of a line here. That looks scary, right? So to blend everything out, I'm going to use my e.l.f. stipple brush. My nose will be the very last thing that I will blend out because I want it to dry. It's still a bit warm, so I want it to dry that way when I do blend it, it won't look as dark and crazy. But first thing I'm going to blend out are my cheeks. And I'm first blending out up and down like this. Then I'm going to use a circular motion up. And it may look dark right now, but once I set it in and do everything else, it'll look a lot smoother. To blend out my nose, I'm going to use the e.l.f. contour brush, and I'm going to go up and down like this. It's still a bit warm. I think it's because I have all the lights in front of me. I'm going to finish it off using my damp beauty blender, and I'm just dapping it onto my skin. I always do the cream foundation contour first, then I go over it with powder. So this is how it looks once I've contoured. Now I'm going to highlight underneath my eyes, my forehead, chin, a little bit here. I'm going to use my MAC Pro Long Concealer, and I'm using the shades NC20 and NC25. And the reason why I like to mix both of them together because the NC20 is a bit too light for me and the NC25 is too dark. So I mix a tiny bit here on my hand. Whenever I squeeze this out, I always apply way too much, but this is the NC20 first. Then I'm going to put the NC25 on top of it. To blend the concealer, I'm going to use the Sigma Precision Tapped P86 brush, and I'm going to mix it here on my hand first, like this, then apply it to the areas where I'm going to highlight. I don't normally highlight too much on my nose, but because I already have a large nose, but I'm going to draw just a tiny line like this. You can barely tell it's even there. And I also like to prime my eyes with this. I'm going to put a little bit on to my eyelids. Now I'm going to use my beauty blender to set that in. Now before I set everything in with my loose powder, I'm going to fill in my eyebrows. And to fill in my eyebrows, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Duo Powder in dark brown, along with my Morphe B20 brush. So I'm taking the light shade to fill in the beginning of my eyebrows, then I'm taking the darker shade for the tail of my eyebrows. So I'm just taking a little bit like this, tapping it to remove any excess powder. I'm going to start by outlining my eyebrows first. Then I'll go in and fill in the middle. In the foundation, the cream contour, the highlighting, I'm going to use my MAC Blott powder. It's a loose powder. And I'm going to set everything in to remove any harsh lines that I may have. And I'm going to do that with my beauty blender as well. There's way too much product in here. What happened? I'm just taking a little bit of the powder and I'm going to start dabbing it into my skin. And I'm even setting my eye primer that I did earlier. This powder is kind of getting all over, but it's okay. You can still see all the areas where I've contoured and where I've highlighted. It doesn't take anything away, it just sets everything in and gives a nice smooth finish. Now I'm going to go in and start using the powder to contour and highlight, and I usually use the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit for this, but I went on a little trip over the weekend and I have no idea where it is now. I misplaced it somewhere. So since I don't know where it is, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Golden Bronzer, and I'm going to use the same stipple brush, and I'm going to use the shade right here to contour the areas that I've already contoured. Then I'll go in and highlight with the powder as well. So same brush, and I'm just going over the areas I've already contoured in a circular motion. Now the same thing for the nose, same shade, even though it has a lot of shimmer to it. But for this video, I will try it out and see how it goes for the rest of the day. Now to highlight, I usually use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Banana shade with the MAC Emphasize. But again, I don't know what that is. So for now, what I'm going to do is use, if I can get this to open, this is the e.l.f. Ivory Powder, and I'm going to use that with the MAC Emphasize. And I'm going to take a little bit of the e.l.f. powder, and I'm just going to tap this twice or 3 times. I don't know how much that was, but I'm using more of the e.l.f. powder than I am of the Emphasize, because the Emphasize really sets out. You really don't need much of it. So a tiny bit on a brush, and I'm tapping it on to the areas where I've highlighted. Now I'm going to apply on blush, and I'm using the Bare Minerals blush, and this is, I think it's called the One. That's the shade name. And I'm using it with the blush brush from Bare Minerals as well. I'm just taking a tiny bit, and I'm only putting it on the apple of my cheeks. And again, I'm dapping that on like this. I'm not, you know, mixing it all over my cheek, and I'm not taking it any higher. I'm just putting it on, dapping it on to the apple of my cheeks. So this is all I do for the face to give it a nice, flawless, fresh look. And usually at this point, I'll move on and do my eyes, and the last thing I would do is my lips. But for now, this is it.